Again, if you're comfortable, great. If you're not, no good.
Brethren, it's almost 6:30. If you want to refresh your coffee, your water, or cookies or anything, go ahead and do it now, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I don't want to tie up your entire evening.
I love watching videos.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Chance, are you able to get Al?
Yeah, I think it's the first.
Are you able to get Al?
Great point. I'll text him right now.
That's okay. You know,
Just leave my guys out there.
He's gonna be virtually. Mr. West Texas himself.
Pecos out?
Pecos. Pecos Bill.
Yeah, everybody else. I ain't telling this dude.
That's a different organization.
I know.
Yeah, the dudes are coming to try everything.
I like giving him a hard time.
Get me on our stuff too, to pay it. Why do you have to keep reminding me? First of all, I remind me every 6 years. I had to get to work early this morning, so I can have enough time to go do our.
Okay, Mickey says it's 6:30, or at least close. So we may be running a little late, but that's why they call me the late Bart Henderson. So if you will please rise and join with Brother Kleinfelder. He's going to lead us in an opening prayer.
Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening to ask your blessing upon what we are about to undertake. We ask that you be with each of us as we make decisions for tonight. Lord, we ask that you bless all those that you alone know need your blessing. Forgive us where we failed you, and forgive us of our sins. For all this we do pray in the name of our Son and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
So mote it be.
Please join me in the pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the great state of Texas. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Come on down. Please be seated. Just asking, did everybody get one of the agendas that I passed out? If you did not, let me know, and we'll get you one right now. Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you for being here. This was a very quickly called meeting, and I really appreciate my worshipful master, Brother Hudson, and our secretary, Chris Adams, for allowing us. Worshipful Master for allowing us to be here, and Chris Adams for jumping through the hoops to make it happen as well. So thank you very much. This is a beautiful lodge. If you get a chance and you've never been here, the lodge is open. Take a look because it is amazing. We're here to discuss the Reconstitution of the Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries Association for the 28th District. I've talked to several people in the very recent past, beginning with Chance Crane. I called him because he's the district communication officer for the 28th District. And I thought, well, if anybody knows, the communication officer should know. My question was, when is the next time and place that our Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries is going to meet? Because I have a presentation to give to them. And he said, you know, I don't know. Let me find out. A couple hours later, he sends me a text back, not sure. So I called Chris Adams, who has his finger on the pulse of pretty much everything in the 28th district. At least that's what he says. And so I believe everything he says. And in fact, if you've not heard Chris talk during a stated meeting, and you're not familiar with an air traffic controller, that is a great example. He is awesome. So anyway, I said, Chris, can you tell me when the Masters, Warden, and Secretaries meets for our district? And he goes, no, because it doesn't exist. I said, you're kidding. I said, no. So I said, well, so I started calling around. He goes, you need to contact Al McCullum. Is Al here? I didn't see him. Oh, I am so sorry. I walked right past you. Do you have an agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I talked to Al, and then I called Brent Sherrod, and then I called, it's in my notes here. One other person, and then I called our Grand Master, and I said, hey, you've been Secretary of Montgomery Lodge and Magnolia previous to that. What happened to District 28's Masters, Warden, and Secretaries? And the last date that it was actually meeting was kind of loose. I had heard mid-90s, mid-late 90s, and it may have gone away temporarily and then came back. I've heard as recent as 2008, 2009, just tonight. But the point is, it's been probably 20 years, or 15 for sure, since this organization met. And before I go any further, I'm not following my own agenda. I would like to, as if he needs an introduction, but it's my great pleasure to present to you our most worshipful Grand Master, Rayburn L. Reeder, Jr. Thank you for being here. Yep. And our Right Worshipful District Deputy Grand Master, Andy Brown. Thank you. Right Worshipful District Deputy Grand Master at Large, Doug Hudson. Our District 28, Cecil, I'm so sorry. Cecil District Deputy Grand Master at Large, Cecil Vaden. Thank you. And just for the record, Grandview has you listed as Alvy?
Yes, that's my first name.
Yeah, well, you're difficult to find because it doesn't say Cecil. So, I thought it was your brother or nephew or something. All right, and we have the District Communications Officer, Chance Crane. Thank you. District Education Officer, Stephen Rich. And Stephen has been at more cornerstones than I have, but Stephen is always there and a really good ritualist, though. And I apologize. I'll freeze up here before the night's over. Did everybody sign in the sign-in sheet? Okay. Catch it on the way out. It's small, and I apologize, but I wanted to get as much information as I can because I'm going to turn it over to Chance Crane. Because he's the communication officer, he's going to keep up with everything that we're doing and publicize it. And for me, not necessarily for you, but for me, this is a relaxed meeting, and just so I don't step on my tongue, I've talked to these two individuals and at least one of the district deputies, and I asked if we could relax the rules for this meeting only. And we have Rayburn with us, and we have Andy and Doug and Cecil, just because I'll be the first one to not call you by your protocol. So thank you very much. Okay, so let me say one more thing before I go any further. This is we're only going to talk tonight. There's no decisions that are going to be made here. When we leave here and you didn't think of the question that you wanted to ask, I want you to hopefully write it down when you get home or whatever, because we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight, and I want you to think about them. I think a Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries Association is incredibly important for this district. And I'm going to run these numbers by you. These are as of today. we have, the state of Texas has 138 Masonic districts in our Grand Lodge with 737 lodges. Okay? The total membership as of today is 57,346. That does not include the plurals. I don't count those because they're, you know, they're good for one lodge, but they're ghosts everywhere else. District 28 has 8 lodges with 1,148 members. Okay? There are 9 districts in this state with 8 lodges, of which we are one. There are 7 lodges with 7 districts with 9 or more lodges. And just quickly in your head, that puts us in the top 12% size-wise. I don't know why we don't have a master's, wardens, and secretaries. And let me say this, you don't have to have one. Conroe is doing great. They obviously, maybe they don't need it. I'm not sure every year has been that way, but as long as I've been here 3 years maybe, these guys are on fire, I think. Forest Lodge, they don't have any problems. But without you, this won't function. Okay, we have to have, in my opinion, we have to have 100% participation or it just won't work. James Smith or Brother Smith was telling me earlier that previously, not sure exactly the time frame, but the 28th district was really reliant on one guy. He wasn't the only one, but he was kind of in charge and he was really pushing this. And he died. And it kind of went away. That's the first real explanation I've got of what happened to it. Guys, this isn't one person. This is all of us. I promise you. And it's when we have our elections, and let me say this. I'm a past president of another Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries. I'm not running and don't want to be an officer here, but I think it's important that the 28th district have one. I wanted to get that out of the way. I'm not running and don't want to be placed a nomination for anything here in the Masters and Wardens. You guys are strong as mustard gas. Give yourself a chance. So, let me move on. Now I'm going to get back to the agenda. I thank the Worshipful Master and our Secretary, Chris Adams, and a special thanks, and you'll see why in a moment, but a special thanks to Chance Crane and Paul Wunchy. Paul's not here tonight, and I'm not sure that he's even a member of the 28th District, but they're doing something for our district right now. Chance is already pretty much not done, but his little task is complete, and I'll show it to you in a moment. But Paul is working on something. This was the presentation I had originally, and I'll just go ahead and I only have just a handful of these, but look at it, pass it around. I'm having gavels made for our masters, the 28th District, Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries. There's 2. One of them, the smaller one, is what we're calling the President's Gavel. These are what you're looking at is an unfinished gavel, okay? And these are made from he acquired. Don't ask me how. He probably jumped the fence and borrowed it. But he got a large piece of a branch, a very large branch of one of the Masonic, part of the Masonic oak, and that's what these gavels are made from. So, and it will say that on the gavel. But they're not finished yet. He delivered them today. He was waiting on Chance and I to come up with the design for I call them the faces of the gavel. Now he calls them top and bottom, I don't know. But this is the logo. Actually, I have one for each table, I think. This is the logo that will be on one of the faces of the gavel. On the opposite, the opposite face of the gavel will have the seal of the Grand Lodge of Texas. Every Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries association is approved by our Grand Lodge. So I think we owe them something to put the seal on the gavel. So do we have enough for every table? Okay. And that's what the plan is. And I want to thank Chance again. That's his artwork. I had nothing to do with it. Believe me, you don't want me to do anything with that. That was the original gift. The other gavel is, I'm going to say, about twice the size of that one. And that will be what we're going to call the traveling gavel. Each one of these will have District 28 on it, Masters, Warden, Secretaries, and harvested from the Masonic Oak Park, Brazoria, Texas on it. But the idea of the traveling gavel is when we meet at a lodge for the meeting, we'll take whoever the secretary is will tally up the sign-in sheet, and whoever has the most members there gets to take the traveling gavel to their lodge, and they have to bring it back for the next meeting. So that's merely to encourage participation, to be here and be counted for your lodge. You know, some of you are members of multiple lodges, so you have to decide if you're an officer in Montgomery, but you're a member of 3 other lodges in 28. I would suggest you sign in where you're an officer. The worshipful master may have words with you later. So, but I think in the 30th district, it's become highly competitive, and that traveling gavel has recently gone to the lodge who had one more member present than anybody else. So it's very important that you show up and sign in. Okay. Before I go any further, I'm not sure everybody knows everybody here. I introduced a couple of people, but if you don't mind, just very quickly stand and introduce yourself and what lodge you're with, and if you're an officer. Please.
Hector Lopez, North Houston, Morning Lodge, 1360, and I do not hold an office.
A member, okay?
Member.
Yep.
Derek Raisler, North Houston Morning Lodge. I am senior deacon.
All right.
Alan McCollum, Conroe 748, past master.
Man, you had to make this difficult.
Yeah, I told you.
Carl Spinks, Conroe 748, senior deacon. North Houston Morning Lodge, 1360, master of ceremonies. And San Jacinto Lodge, 106, treasurer.
Okay. Thank you.
Ron Rydelhuber, Conroe 748 and North Houston Morning Lodge. Here at Conroe, I am a senior warden and I'm chaplain at North Houston Morning Lodge.
Excellent.
Ryan Hudson, Master, Conroe 748.
Good one too. John? You don't have to stand up, John.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
John Kleinfelder, North Houston Morning Lodge, 1360, perpetual secretary.
Indeed, thank goodness.
Carl Wunsching, past master of Northwest Lodge 1434 in another district, but I'm currently the junior warden of North Houston Morning Lodge from 1360.
Excellent.
John Cook, past master of Conroe 748, current chaplain.
Wayne Thomas, Conroe 748, past master too.
They need that.
James Smith, junior past Conroe 748, and a couple others.
Steve Rich.
Steve Rich.
Soon to be past treasurer.
Mike Grafton, Forest Lodge number 19, past master.
Soon to be treasurer. Brian Beck, Montgomery 75, junior past.
Albert Shane, worship master, North Houston Morning Lodge 1360.
Cecil Braden, past master, Samuel Crawford 1418, New Kenya.
Bill Walworth, past master, North Houston Morning Lodge, member of Forest, and member of Conroe.
David Duke, past master, secretary of Sam B. Crawford 1418, perpetual secretary, but you gotta move to get away from that title. I'm moving. I'm moving. No, I prefer movement. I don't wanna die.
Chris Rogers, I'm the junior warden, and San Jacinto 106, Willis.
Alex Courts, junior warden at Montgomery 25, and also a member of Conroe 748.
Brian Bennett, Montgomery 25, Forest Master. Willie Myers, Past Master, Montgomery 25.
Doug Hudson, past master Oakwood, 2 times. Past master Billy Wayne Tinsley, once.
Raymond Reeder, current perpetual secretary, like these 2 gentlemen.
Andy Brown, past master Montgomery 25, and perpetual steward.
Yes.
Thank you for your service.
Put that in my name.
Yeah. Chance.
Oh, Chance Crane, Senior Warden, Montgomery 25.
All right. Thank you very much. Just so everybody knows everybody, I think that's important because hopefully soon, you'll be working very closely together. What do we do and what's our purpose? You can see on there, I tried to kind of flesh this out. This is just me, but I'm not sure, we can put on our bylaws whatever you want to put on there when we get to that point. I put on here an organization of dedicated current and past masters, wardens, secretaries, and treasurers who are devoted to the success of the Masonic lodges in the 28th District of the Grand Lodge of Texas by mentoring the officers of the lodges and by offering mutual education by working together, encouraging the exchange of information among the lodges, lodge officers of District 28 and the Grand Lodge of Texas, to promote Freemasonry and fellowship in District 28 and to be a resource of information and instruction to unite and support all of the lodges in the district. Now, on your bylaws, when we get to that point, and I'm only recommending that we redo our bylaws because the Grand Lodge is supposed to have a copy. I'm not sure, and I'll let the Grand Master contact the Grand Lodge. He has better contact with him than I do.
He knows somebody.
He knows somebody, yes. So, there's my notes from before. I talked to Chance Crane, Chris Adams, Andy McCollum, and our Grand Master, and then Brent Sherrod as well about the history. Now you know as much about it as I do, as far as the history of the 28th District. Again, we're as strong as you want us to be. So again, we don't have to do this. I think it would be smart to do it, just because it gives us an opportunity to really shine. You're very talented, and I hope that I know I've seen Steve around, I've seen Chance around, of course the Grand Master gets around, Doug Hudson, a bunch of you get around a lot, but some of you, maybe not. You need to go visit lodges in other districts to see kind of what's going on. If they've got a Masters and Wardens, see how they operate. It's very important. Everybody does things different. Every lodge in this state has a different personality. I believe, just because I'm used to Conroe, that you get attacked, and that's not true. You get approached when you just get to the top of the stairs by people that are friendly and they act like they want you to be here. And that meant a lot to me. I was new, and they made me feel like I was just extremely welcome. And that's, gosh, like you can't ask for more than that. I'm quite sure that all of the lodges in the 28th District are the same. So, but it gives us an ability to work together. I think we just become stronger. There's strength in numbers. And I should have said this first. This is not me preaching to you. If you have any comments or questions, please ask. You're not interrupting. Just jump up and say, hey, what about this? Or hey, I want to say this, or whatever. Please stand up. Don't be shy. This is not a shy group. Now, on the next item on your agenda, and these are only suggestions. One thing that I was going by the Conroe Masonic calendar, but it doesn't mean it's good for everybody. So I just penciled in here meeting day, time, and place. I suggested only that we meet on Wednesdays preferably the second Wednesday, because looking at Grandview, none of the District 28 lodges meet on Wednesdays. Now, I'll stand corrected on that. I know that John Sims could be there because they're meeting tonight, and I forgot why. This is not Wednesday, my fault.
They meet on Thursday.
Oh.
John says
You meant Oakwood meeting.
Oh, Oakwood, I'm sorry, okay.
And Montgomery.
Oakwood, Montgomery's meeting tonight?
That's a study night. It's
Oh,
not
okay,
great. Yeah.
all right. Well, hopefully, if we decide on a meeting day of the month, that the work nights can kind of work around it, because we want as much participation with this as we can. Otherwise, it's just not gonna work. My suggestion is that we begin at 7 to 9. We started almost at 6:30 tonight. It was about 6:34, 6:35, something like that. That may be the best. I mean, everybody was here that chose to attend, so I think maybe that's a better time. It could be 6:30 to 8:30. I don't know. Not my call. It's your call. You decide. The other suggestion that I have is that while I think, best I could tell, Conroe Lodge is kind of the center of the little sphere of District 28. But my suggestion is that we revolve these meetings around every lodge in the district. That way it's equally inconvenient for somebody on every meeting. For example, the folks in Montgomery might not want to drive to Sam Crawford, or vice versa. Or Oakwood, I think they're the southernmost lodge, might not want to go to Forest. So I got it, but you're gonna have your turn too, so it's better if we reciprocate, work with everybody. So that's my suggestion, and just to make it easy, I suggested that we start with lodge number in those orders, merely to keep up with it. That's all. There's no ranking, no nothing. It just, let's start at 19 and move up. You can do it reverse, I don't care. You can do it alphabetically, I don't care. But make sure that everybody gets a turn. There's 8 lodges, you meet once a month. If you keep it toward the front end of the month, you avoid the Christmas and Thanksgiving conflicts. So, just a thought. Membership qualifications. The 30th district is going through this little change right now. Doug Hudson was very instrumental in getting this together for them, and I'm going to suggest that you when we make our bylaws, I'm sorry, I promise you, I brought copies of the 30th district's bylaws. We also, they came up with, you brought some too? Okay, they also came up with rules and regulations that are much easier to change. The bylaws have to go to the Grand Lodge. Rules and regs, as we found out, do not. They eventually do, but you can make those changes, vote them in, and they go into effect at the next meeting, so.
Excuse me, Bart?
Yep.
Grand Lodge also has a Form 23 for Master Board and Secretary Association.
Okay.
There's 23A.
They do that for the lodges, but they also want doesn't just for MWSA.
Okay, perfect.
It's 23A, and once you file it with the Grand Secretary's office, then you're essentially, you can do elections and do whatever, but it's a standard form. 23A is still in blanks.
Okay. Question then, let's just say that at the next meeting, we decide what we're going to do, when we're gonna meet, we've got the bylaws filled out, and we send them to Grand Lodge.
It's effective.
It's effective.
When Cindy receives them, it's effective.
Okay.
Dennis, District 93 was trying to start one too. So he said, yeah, so once she receives it, then you start doing what you need to do, so.
Okay, all right, Chance, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Those are a set of bylaws that you'll just rotate around pass around your tables. What he's passing out now are the 30th district's rules and regulations. It's just a summary, basically, of the bylaws, but they're easily changed at the stated meetings.
Yeah, and if you do a Form 23A, it's a standard format, then you put everything else in rules and regulations.
Okay, all right, all right.
And it doesn't even have to go to committee if I'm correct. if the Form 23, you know, as long as we don't
Another one, this one's
deviate
upside down.
from the Form 23 any, you know, extensively. Of course, we've gotta change it a little bit, names, meeting dates,
Yeah, that
and
doesn't
so
matter.
forth, but all of that's expected.
Okay, all right. If you would like to see them, I'm not gonna pass these around, but I have, about 5 copies. I copied, the 14th district's bylaws as well. They're very similar to what you're looking at. It's just another district from the other side of the state. They claim to be the biggest, they are not.
No, they're not.
They're not, and, so, cause according to Grandview, they're not, so, anyway, but it gives you something else to look at. On membership qualifications, I don't know, I put on there active or regular or full member, you call it what you wanna call it, but we need to decide what we wanna call it for the bylaws. But that is a current, a past, or affiliated past master, a warden, or a secretary, or treasurer of the 28th district. And those members will have voting rights and can hold office in the district, in the Master's Warden Secretary organization. The other one is honorary or other, or whatever else you want to call it. They can offer comments and suggestions only. They do not vote nor hold an office in the Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries. They're welcome to attend. They cannot vote. They cannot hold an office. All right. The lodge dues. To be the other thing is, before you can vote in the Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries, your lodge has to be current in their dues to the Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries. Now, I wrote down some numbers. They're just arbitrary numbers, okay? In the 30th district, and that's the only thing I have to go by. In the 30th district, we charge $30 or $35, $35, I think, per lodge, plus 30 cents a member,
Right.
30 cents per member on your lodge's roll at that time. So that the district uses that for a lot of things, and just because we're starting up, we're not gonna have a lot of it to use. But it's seed money to do other things to raise money. If we can have district, we'll get to that in a minute, but that's my suggestion was 45. The 30th districts are a little lower than what I'm recommending because they have 52 lodges to pull from. 46. There's some that choose not to participate, I guess. I'm not sure. But I was president too many years ago. So, but in the 30th district, when I was president, if a lodge didn't pay their dues, I'd pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, you just don't want to participate? What's going on? So generally that would get a check. So, but yeah, my suggestion is we start off at $45 plus 20 cents a member. That's just a suggestion. There's nothing in stone here. Believe me, we'll discuss this at the next meeting. But think about it, because it's not going to develop a whole lot of money, but that's what the fundraisers are for. All right, we've kind of gone over the rules and bylaws. If you want a copy of the 30th district, you can either take that one or email me, and I'll email you a copy of ours. Again, it doesn't hold water with the 28th district. It's merely something to go by. It's just a template. The meeting agendas and the time frames, it's just like pretty much like a lodge meeting. You have an invocation, pledges to the flags. You can either have a roll call of lodges. Bob Royal, who is our president, doing an outstanding job. Doug did an outstanding job too, and they were president during a rebuilding time. Well, Bob's not, but he's currently our president, doing a super job. But they're doing he introduces, he asks all the masters to stand, all the wardens to stand, secretaries, etc. And then he introduces the district service team. So, I mean, but you can do a roll call of lodges if you want to. Doesn't matter to me. We want people to show up. Now, we do owe it to the Grand Lodge officers, whether they're appointed or, not appointed, but if they're deputies communication officers, education. We owe that to them to introduce them, but beyond that, and then, Bob, we have a reading of the minutes, reports of any committees. Because we're not meeting in any one particular lodge, we have no, we don't. We don't have a building committee, I guess, but.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, they do, because we meet every month at Reagan Lodge, and we pay them $100. I'm the treasurer, I guess I should know. We pay them $100 per meeting just to take up the space and have the air conditioner, et cetera. So once we get established wherever we meet, I think that we should decide on what we're gonna compensate the lodge for. Typically, we're there for about 2 hours. This is later in the agenda, but one of the things that we can discuss is whether there's gonna be a meal or not. Now, I will tell you that the 30th District is incredibly spoiled. They've got a lady, Lisa Shockley, who comes in and she prepares a meal for us at every meeting. And we have a kitty, it costs you $10 to eat, and if you leave there hungry, it's your own fault, because she has got plenty. And then what she doesn't feed us, they bind it up and take it to the fire station. So I don't know what she leaves with, but she never leaves empty-handed. The guys just, they eat till they're full. So, but you don't have to have a meal. I would suggest that you have coffee and, stale donuts and tonight, I was planning on having cookies and coffee, and thank you again to Conroe Lodge for helping with that, but Ron brought chicken nuggets and he spoiled me and everybody else. Thank you very much. But you don't have to do anything, but I think, again, if you want people to come, give them something. So besides the traveling gavel, or a chance to win that. We have unfinished business, treasurer's report, new business, announcements, program, and then the benediction. Now, the time frame, the way we do it, and believe me, don't just take that lightheartedly. That doesn't mean that's the way you should do it or we should do it, but the way that the 30th District does it is that they start that meeting right on time at 7 o'clock. Pardon me. And they start, he goes right down the line. He does, and Bob does not let the grass grow. So at 8 o'clock, if we've got a program, the program starts. And they know what time, because we finish before 9 o'clock, and we have the benediction at 9 o'clock, and we leave. That's the agreement with Reagan Lodge, and I'm suggesting, and if you start at 6:30, make it 8:30, 2 hours is plenty of time. That first hour, especially when we're just getting started, is plenty of time to cover this little bit of business. Gives your program enough time, or plenty of time, to do whatever they want to say and then take questions and answers. Now, the way that the 30th District does it is they have when they don't have a formal program, then they have a breakout session for the masters, they have a breakout session for the wardens, one for the secretaries and one for the treasurers, and they meet in different places in the lodge. Typically, there's about 5 to 7 people, maybe 8 people per group, so that whoever's leading that class, and they know in advance, whoever's teaching the class knows you're going to be in charge of this group. So, excuse me, they talk quiet enough so they don't interrupt the other guys. You can hear them, but if you're focusing on the guy speaking, you don't have any problems. But if you have a formal program, my suggestion is that everybody listen to the program. It may be on Grand Lodge protocol. It may be the Grand Master giving us an update on what's going on. It may be Cecil Vaden giving us hey, this is what's going on I'm not sure this would be a complete program, but these are updates. What's going on at Sam Crawford Lodge, or what's going on but those are the announcements that we want to hear. I suggest that we use at our meetings, merely to know what's going on in our district. It's very important, I think, my opinion, that we get that message out to each other. For example, let's just say I don't even want to say that, but let's just say something happens at one of the lodges and they're in dire shape. Conroe may want to open their doors to let them meet here, or Montgomery, or anybody else, because they just flat can't meet at their lodge. At our last stated meeting, we had an incredible, it wasn't even a formal program, but was it Brother Crawford?
Wayne Johnson.
Wayne Johnson. That guy, let me tell you, that guy is a walking district, well, maybe just Conroe and Montgomery encyclopedia. I didn't know this. There's so much stuff that he delivered in 10 minutes or 12 minutes, I couldn't absorb it all, but I learned something. I shared it with the Grand Master, that at one time, way back, Montgomery Lodge met at Conroe Lodge for 40 years. I didn't know that. So, didn't know that. See, so I think those are things that we'll all benefit from. And by the way, congratulations to Conroe Lodge for getting your historical marker approved. That's a big deal. Anyway, that's just my suggestion. There's a lot of people in not just our district. You don't have to have a program from someone in your district, okay? The Grand Junior Warden, currently our Grand Junior Warden, he'll hopefully be our Grand Master soon, but lives in Cleveland. Chip, he's under the same agreement we already have. Chip is a wealth of information. I mean, he worked hard before he was ever elected as Grand Junior Warden on Grand Lodge committees. I mean, and he can deliver messages on anything. Carl Wunchy offered a program on the shrine hospitals and what they have to offer. Look, I'm a card-carrying Shriner. I'm sorry, I've never been to an Arabia Shrine stated meeting. Now, I've attended our club meeting here in Conroe, never been to a stated meeting. Carl could tell me things that maybe I don't even want to hear. But what I'm saying is he's a wealth of information. It's people like that we can call on to give us programs. It doesn't have to be that. We can have a program from Conroe International Airport. Okay, I don't know, but there's a lot of things that we can have. They don't have to be Masonic programs. Okay, if they're interesting, that's what people want to hear. They don't want to be bored. Please don't bog down by reading minutes, paying bills, and going home. Please don't do that. We experienced that in the 30th District, and it hurt us. Is that a fair statement? There's other words for that, but it hurt us. So, all right, so the time frame is about 2 hours, 6:30 to 8:30, 7 to 9, whatever you want to do. Remember, wherever you're meeting, if we're on one of the perimeter lodges, you may adjust that because the traffic, as you've seen recently on Interstate 45, is crazy. Okay, district recognition modes, awards. The District 28 may want to come up with some special or some special awards and types of recognition. We may want to call it, and I meant to get with somebody before this meeting, but you may want to come up with a name from the past. Let's just say, I don't even know if he was a brother, but let's just say the Isaac Conroe Excellence Award, or Service for Excellence Award, or something like that, whatever you want to call it. And I said Conroe because that just popped in my head, but Montgomery County is where the flag of the state of Texas was born. I mean, that alone is a sense of pride. I think that's incredible. And I think that's something that, I don't know if we capitalize on it, but we darn sure should. So anyway, things like that we might want to recognize or call it something else. We could have, instead of in memory of, we might do it in honor of. I mean, right over there is the Golden Shovel Award. How many lodges have that? One. Okay, we'll tell you that story later, but the point is, Conroe came up with something really special to honor Bob. So I'm suggesting to you that District 28 could do the very same thing in a collaborative effort. Again, these are just ideas. These are, we're not cobbling this in stone, please. Do you want to call it the Doug Hudson? Oh,
I got the 4-foot spoon.
Oh, yeah, true. And the stirring stick. Yeah, right. Okay, so there you go. See? Now you're thinking. Okay, so the other thing was, and all these items, not the awards, but I on your agenda I put dinners and banquets. Recently, last week, we attended, some of us attended the 27th District Banquet. For the last several years, they've met at Tarkington Prairie, I think merely because of the size of the lodge. If every lodge in the 27th District was that big, they could probably do a rotating venue. However, it's been fun at Tarkington. They really roll out the carpet for everybody, and it's to honor the Grand Master. District 107 has a banquet every year. It's traditionally it's been at Liberty for some reason, and I don't care. But apparently it was very successful. They moved it to Winnie or Anahuac.
Mont Bellevue.
Okay, Mont Bellevue, and they had a great turnout. I don't. That's their business why they moved it. I don't know, and none of my business. So, but it was a great turnout. My suggestion is, but that meeting, that banquet is not to honor the Grand Master, but their outgoing district deputy. The 30th district has a banquet every year, and Doug is very responsible for selling a lot, maybe most of the tickets sold, and that banquet is held at Grand Lodge on Friday night. When I was president, we used to hold it at the VFW, and it was standing room only because it was a very small room. But it was a great turnout. Now we hold it at the Lee Lockwood Library and Museum. Plenty of seating. The food is really good, and they honor the outgoing district deputies, which there are 8. District A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
8.
Okay, so and it honors the outgoing deputies. Now the Grand Master gets to speak, or the Deputy Grand Master gets to speak, right? Both of you?
No,
just him. Okay. All right, the Grand Master gets to speak, but and he gets well, we haven't had it yet, but normally he'll get a really nice gift from the 30th District, but that banquet is to honor our deputies. So
from the deputy.
Yeah. So I'm suggesting that we do something similar. Maybe not right off the bat, maybe not even the first year, but we'll have to raise some money. Now, everything that I've just talked about, you sell tickets for. And the ticket sales covers the caterer or the food cost or whatever. Now, if you're going to honor the Grand Master, we certainly don't want to sell him a ticket. So there are some comps. Probably the Grand Master, probably the Deputy Grand Master, or any other Grand Lodge elected Grand Lodge officer that shows up, you probably want to comp them. We want them to come back. So I got to be honest with you. I don't want to be catty, but thinking forward in 24, I had Conroe Lodge penciled in as a Grand Master's official visit. That probably wouldn't have happened had they not at least began following my agenda. So anyway, you're welcome. So anyway, I showed you the traveling gavel and the gavel that's at the engravers as we speak. Probably will be ready by July if we decide to do this and we elect officers. Those gavels will be ready to present and use at the July meeting. I also put on there, I think it's on yours, I'm not sure, but there's a lot of things that we can do for fundraisers. I don't have to tell you, your lodges do an amazing job at raising money. Barbecue cook-offs. It could be a competition just between us, or we could open it up to anybody. Anybody can enter, it's just going to cost them some money. we can have, I put on here dessert tastings. You know, being a diabetic, I don't get to participate with this much. However, there's a lot of people that do. So we can have biscuit and gravy competition. I don't care what you do, but do something to get people's interest and participate. I heard that Carl Spinks makes a great biscuit and gravy, but I've never tasted it. I've only heard about it. But
Been holding out, huh, for Samson?
yeah, there you go. See, so but that encourages competition, and with competition, you get sharper with your activities. I promise you. Additional comments. I'm going to suggest to you. There's a great person in here. Our district communication officer is amazing with his ability. Believe me, I am technologically absent, but he is very good at keeping us apprised of everything. Now I'm going to pass around, these are only suggestions. 2 of these are copies of current district calendars out of 108, and then 2 copies are from last month. But what they do offer, and everybody, that all you have to do is like it or whatever you do to get on this list. And there's an incredible amount of information on that piece of paper that you're going to see, and it's all on the internet. And it keeps you apprised of what's going on in our district. They've got links. I don't know about that one, but some of the district communications offer links to the Grand Lodge website. They've got links to our district officers. Whether they like it or not, they're supposed to be responsive to all of us. So there's a link with a email link to all the district officers, a link to the Grand Lodge. We need probably the district communication officer should be our District 28 point of contact. For example, Johnny Doe wants to be a Mason. He needs to go, you know, I'm living, I think, in this area, not sure where 28 is, but maybe I see Conroe on there, I see Montgomery, I live between them. I'll send this guy an email, and he can make contact with them, find out where they live, and I'm only suggesting that we encourage them to join a lodge close to their home. If they're like some people, they spend more of their time at the office. Maybe they want to. That's how I got at Woodland Lodge. I spent more time at the office than I did at home, and that causes its own problem. So anyway, and a list of all the lodges in the 28th district and their meeting times and dates. A list of Masonic Masters, Warden, and Secretaries. A list of our, once we get set up, we want to go ahead and decide where we're going to meet next month and the next month and the next month through the year, so that when, like if Bart Henderson can't make this month's meeting, he'll know where we're going to be next month and what time. A list of Masters, Wardens, Secretaries, officers with their email links. You may want to contact the president and say, or the vice president and say, hey, look, I've got an idea for a program. What do you think? And let him tell you. And then, of course, we'll decide as a group on meals or no meals. My suggestion is that we try to meet again on Wednesday, June 11th. That's a loose date. Check your calendars. But we need to, I want you to think about what we've talked about, and I'm hoping that you've got a few questions or suggestions or comments, anything here in a moment. But on June the 11th, here at Conroe, merely because it's centrally located, and we need to decide who you want to have as officers. Yes, sir.
Bart, I know I'm only one person. Second Wednesdays eliminate me.
Okay, and that's fine. That's great. We need to hear that. We'll probably ought to talk about that tonight. Why are you, oh, tonight's Tuesday. Okay, I keep thinking it's Wednesday, okay. So, be thinking about that as an alternate, maybe it needs to be the first Wednesday, maybe it needs to be the third Wednesday. And I only chose Wednesdays because none of the lodges meet in the 28th district on Wednesday. That doesn't mean Eastern Star, York Rite, maybe the Scottish Rite Club meets, maybe the Shrine Club, I don't know, but that, we need your input on that. Yes, sir.
So say the fifth Wednesday. There's only 4 or 5 fifth Wednesdays in a year.
The problem, I'm suggesting we meet monthly. I don't wanna, once we get going, I don't wanna lose the momentum. Now, maybe that's the answer. I don't know. Y'all think about it, talk about it. What I'm going to ask, that sign-in list, once Bob signs in, make sure, whoever came in last, I don't remember who it was, make sure that you sign in with your email but I'm gonna give that list to Chance, and he will create or at least our planning team contact information. Very important. I'm glad that you said that. And maybe the fifth Wednesday is maybe it is. I don't know.
What about Thursdays? About the first?
Lodge, there's a couple lodges that meet on Thursday. You speak up.
Just one, John Sims, Thursday.
Then,
So not the first.
Third Thursday?
not the-
Second or third Thursday? I'd say second.
second, I'm thinking second. There's rumors.
Second Thursday. I second the second.
Second.
Okay, all right. Okay,
So second Thursday.
okay, second, that's for the stated meeting, correct? Or our next meeting.
Okay.
Guys, is that just for our next planning meeting, or is that for our stated meeting?
That'd be, June, what were you saying, July or June?
Either, both?
June the 12th would be
June
that date.
12th.
Does that work for everyone?
You got a golden trout that night, golden trout.
Yeah, but that's one event. Okay, don't base your, oh, I see.
Well, no, we're
for
just
next
talking
meeting.
about for like if it was next. the
Gotcha,
next one.
gotcha, okay,
But I mean, I think in general, the second Thursday.
I think
would
in
be
general,
fine.
second Thursday.
okay, all right. Then pencil that in for at least the next meeting, and then,
As far as
Yeah.
the next meeting though.
yeah,
Let's
oh,
get that on board.
okay. John can't be here on Wednesday. How about the 10th, back on Tuesday? Just, of course, we're ruling out, Oakwood again, aren't we?
Yeah, you're rolling out Oakwood and Montgomery, you know?
I mean, we don't have a meeting then. If it's just one more time, just do something like this, I think our principal officers can probably go there. What do you say, Ben? Works with us.
What is it? What day?
Second, we're talking about the, second
The next
Tuesday.
planning meeting.
So June the 10th, just to do the one more planning where
Yeah,
we
it's,
elect officers.
that won't be our stated,
That won't be our stated, it'll just be our final prep meeting.
right,
That'll be a normal.
Correct.
yes, right. And then those theoretically will go away once we lock things down. Yeah, no problem.
So stated meetings
Second,
tentatively is on the second Thursdays of the month, except for next month.
Right.
except for next month,
Well, we're not, yeah.
'cause we're not official yet.
Not official.
Right.
As far as I know,
Officially
this
not
is all
official.
District 28 meetings.
Oh, wow.
And when they meet, so
Okay.
forth, so
All right,
reference that maybe.
all right.
28, 22.
If you'd like to buy a square.
I
knew that was coming.
Hey, don't worry about it.
Tomball. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna pass it. This is wealth of information. Some of the lodges on here though are not part of the 28. I'm just passing.
No, but all of 28 should be.
Yes, exactly.
If you guys are subscribed to the communications or check the Facebook, I post all these events every single month for every lodge within our district, including like the local shrine club and things like that. So make sure you subscribe to that, and if you're not, hit me up.
Okay, and we've got, Thursday, Tuesday, June the 10th for our next meeting, okay?
We done changed it again, I thought it was the 12th.
No, so June the 10th is gonna be our next planning meeting.
Next and
And then
last.
after that, we're proposing that every stated meeting for the 28th MWSA is the second Thursday, which would start in July, if all things goes well.
Okay,
Or I'm looking at the calendar for the
Yep.
lodge on June 10th, it's clear.
okay, perfect, thank you. All right, and if you don't mind, put us in on that then. And I know that very soon, all the lodges are gonna go through their annual installations. So hopefully, we'll get some new, and guys, remember, when you get back to your lodges at your stated meetings, please encourage your membership to come, particularly the officers and the past masters. Past masters have a vote, they can run for office. I would encourage like any other organization, people can show up just on election night, okay? I would prefer people show up all year long and participate with the organization, because that's what makes these strong. Again, we don't have to have this. I think we should. It doesn't mean we have to. This is y'all's program. I just think that we would be stronger as a district with it. That's it. We'll talk about it at the next meeting, but think about what you want to do. At one time, the 30th district had a first and second vice president to give the second vice, and they were most of the time progressive. So that gives the guy as the second vice president plenty of time to think about what he wants to do, how he's going to do some fundraisers, what he wants to do for programs. But we've narrowed it down to the vice president, and it gives him a year to do that. And if he's on the ball, then he'll be able to do that. And it's just one less elected officer. Yes, sir.
Primarily, the vice president's responsibility in the 30th Masonic district was was in charge of the fundraisers.
Yes.
One was a Grand Master's Fish Fry in April, and the Grand Master's Banquet in Waco.
Yes.
Now, those two assignments are very, very
huge.
A lot.
Right. In case you didn't hear Doug, excuse me, if you didn't hear Doug, the vice president's duty was to come up with the banquet, and what we do is pretty much standard, but we're new. So we sell tickets and raise money for the Grand Master's Banquet in Waco in January, and the Grand Master's Fish Fry, which is in like next week. Oh, it's next Friday.
Yeah, it would be in April, but they didn't.
Oh.
Whatever reason, they didn't have it yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So be thinking about what you want the duties of the vice president to do. My suggestion is the president has a lot to do.
Right.
He's got to run the meetings. He's got to keep up with a lot of stuff, not to mention if he's a current master or even a warden or secretary or treasurer of a lodge. He's got his own stuff. So the vice president gives him something to do, and let me tell you, those aren't small feats. Okay, those are big projects. I'm suggesting that the 28th could have very easily, very successful with these banquets. If we want to do a fish fry, if we wanted to do these competitive cook-offs, I'm anxious to taste Carl's sausages, biscuits, and gravy. So,
Who set me up?
Are there any other questions, comments? Great concerns. I think we fixed them. And that's the purpose of the rules and regulations. If something comes up and it's not working, vote it together and change it. But don't be shy. That's the problem with our organizations. You come up with something that may be a very small problem, and you let it go, or it works on your head, and all of a sudden becomes a big problem, and then nothing is done. So please speak up. Did I run you off?
Who's gonna make gravy?
He's gonna make biscuits and gravy, okay.
I want to stand up because at the 30th MWSA, they have a candidate forum in November.
That's correct.
So we have one candidate forum is in November, December. Then we have, candidate forums in November, and resolutions in December.
Yes.
Now we have, right works for Brian Dotson, he's the moderator of that event. So, but they go over all the resolutions, let you know what's going on. Funeral masters. establishing a set of funeral masters in this district. We established a funeral master list down in the 30th MWSA, and some of these guys are from 28th District with Brother Art Galloway, David Duke, and others. Brother Steve Rich does it. So that is pretty big, because funeral masters are hard to come by, especially when you gotta be here tomorrow. So that's one of the things that we established, and we're talking about fundraisers, elections. The elections for MWSA in the 30th District is held in July at the 4th Wednesday. After the election, the installation of officers takes place.
Typically after all the lodges have finished theirs.
No, that night.
No, I mean, but by then, most of the lodges
most
have
of them
finished.
be done, yeah. The last Wednesday of the month. So hopefully, by July the 31st this year, they'll have one down in Clear Lake. 31st. Down at Drew. Sure. Did you change it?
I gotta tell you, while he's looking that up, the Grand Master's calendar is full, and it's subject to change at any moment. And that's why he's having to double check. I'm not defending him, he doesn't need defending.
The Clear Lake officers, it is the 31st. Yeah, he's right. I don't think he's ever been wrong, but he has been mistaken.
His iPad works better than your phone. Boy, he's got better memory.
So, that night's election is the installation.
Right.
Right then and there. So, that's why they do it.
Before you
Now,
go away.
yeah, before you go home.
Yeah.
So, all the furniture in the Grand Master's office in Waco at Grand Lodge was bought by the 30th MWSA. Years ago.
Years.
30th MWSA is the largest MWSA in Texas.
For now.
For now. Okay, I'll go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
I believe you.
I want that Masonic marker, the monument.
Yeah.
It was just a little Masonic marker of the monument.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. You're right.
that's worthy of letting you know. Last month, Bob Royal, who is the president of the Masters and Wardens, he's also the master of Huffman Lodge.
No, secretary.
Secretary, got a package in the mail, and he let it, just let it sit there for a couple days, because he didn't know who it was from. He opened it up, and among other things in there, this young man's dad passed. But he didn't, and it was in Illinois or Ohio or something like that where he mailed it from, but he was a member of Huffman Lodge. So he said, I don't know what to do with this, so he mailed it to Huffman's secretary. In there was an original program from 1935 where they set the base of the San Jacinto Monument, and it was, cornerstone was leveled on it, and it was for as old as it was in pristine shape. And I don't know what happened to it, but I got to see it and look through it. It was amazing. And but again, there's a lot of things that the 28th, we're talking about the 30th District. Listen, you're on the ground floor of something that the 28th District might do this year, next year, the year after, that people are going to talk about 40 years from now. I hope so. I just think, excuse me, pardon me, it's an opportunity for us to get going. There's a lot of talent just in this room, much less than what's in this district. And if we don't take advantage of it, that's our fault. That's really all I gotta say. So I've seen some amazing things happen just in this lodge. There's 7 other lodges out there that are just, like I said earlier, they're strong. You are strong as mustard gas, and you can be just as good as you choose to be. So I say, think about what we've talked about. Are there any other questions? Please, you guys are smart. There's no way I covered everything. The Grand Master's sitting here, ask him something really important.
I got a little bit of information on the history of what happened. 1996, there was an attempt to create a MWSA in this district.
Didn't know. Okay.
So, very little interest, lack of participation, it just went away. And it's never been brought up that I know of since. It may have been, I've never heard it.
Go ahead.
So, that's my little 2 cents on it.
I'm glad you brought it up, because I was wondering what happened too. Now, apparently.
Never been a thing. It's never been a thing, but in 1996 they attempted to do it.
Yeah.
So there's probably not any Bible.
Maybe not.
Probably not.
But I'll let you contact the Grand Secretary's office and find out if he's there. So,
He did not just say that.
He's using his insight.
apparently I thought I had heard the mid-90s. I thought I heard that somewhere, and it may have been you. But,
Master Oakwood that year.
okay. That's very important. So you are an authority. So, but we've also heard the 2007, 8, or 9, in that range, it had a resurgence with Brother Huffman.
Yeah, they tried to bring it up in 2009, because I was at the meeting, and, the guy it was Joe Huffman, and he passed away like 3 or 4 weeks after it was brought up. And, it just kinda went away, because I don't remember a second meeting. I remember they were gonna have one, but I didn't attend it, but I attended the first one.
Okay, so,
Well, I, was pushing it right after I was, master here in '99. I was trying to get it started, well, got it started, we met for about 6 months. I think we had bylaws and everything all approved, but it got to where it was like pushing a chain. It just died off for lack of interest. You couldn't get all the lodges to show up. Maybe we'd get 2 or 3. And you can't really commit a district off of 2 or 3.
Right.
So it was sort of just up here twiddling our thumbs.
point made. And that's exactly what I was trying to impress on you. If we don't all buy in, you pretty much might as well not do it. It's gotta be a team effort, and it's gotta require all the team players. Yes, sir?
Long, long time ago.
Uh-oh, in a galaxy far, far away.
A lot far, far away. I was a new Mason, and the first thing they did was take me to the 30th Masonic District meeting. Well, at that time, each lodge had a representative for the Masters, Wardens, and Secretary Association. So he was sort of a go-to person.
Each lodge did?
Each lodge did.
Was that a yearly appointment? Tell me.
Well, I don't know, we have a guy that does our life program, and he's been it for life. So, he was appointed by the master. Now,
Okay.
if the master wanted to keep the same person involved, that's fine. If they wanted to change it, it's entirely up to them.
Okay, well, but that's great. That's a very important thing. Maybe whoever is gonna be elected president can do that. I think it's a very smart thing to do. I was not aware of that. Right now, the 30th district elects a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. The appointments are the chaplain, and that's it. So, right, chaplain? Yeah, chaplain. So, I'm not good at prayers. But to me, it's important to have someone that is. To have someone like me stumble and stammer around trying to give homage to God is probably not a good thing. But at the same time, that person to me is very important, because he's called on at least twice, maybe 4 times per meeting. Opening, closing, sickness and health, and another one. So all these appointments are very important. Cecil, did you have a question? Okay. So, did anybody else have a question? Alan, thank you for that input.
Well, we actually got over at Conroe Lodge, and I know it was 21, cause I just got over COVID.
Oh, boy.
I was on oxygen over there, but, reason I know the date, but we talked about it then, and it just kind of died away. It was, we met that one time.
You remember we met on Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, Sunday afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
I don't remember
That was in 2021, there was discussion, not necessarily about forming a MWSA, but as far as meeting the district wide.
Yeah.
And it kinda went away, you know. And on another thing, and I'm speaking for myself, not for Sandy Crawford, but, and I like the idea of moving the meeting place from lodge to lodge. But then again, I've seen lack of traveling members headed far east or far north. In one sense, in my head, it would make more sense to keep a central meeting, to be centrally located. That's me speaking, that's not the lodge speaking. And this is something we're
I
gonna.
think when we were doing it, we had come up with that same idea, is that not because I wanted it in Conroe or anything, but Conroe was sort of like, it's been brought up, it was centrally located, and it was about as far from Huntsville to here as it was from.
Montgomery. Well, we had that same conversation. We were sitting here, this seems to make sense for everybody, cause it's kinda in the middle of everything. It's kinda like how they thought of Green Lodge when they built Green Lodge. Waco's kind of the center of everything, right, except for far west Texas, but.
The idea of it moving, now I didn't mean to step on your conversation. The idea of it moving is great, and I would love it, but I personally believe that you would see better participation. But
If it
then
was
again,
always
I gotta get guys to show up to the meeting, let alone come to one of these.
Robertsville, Doug, why do y'all at District 30 only meet at Reagan? Just for that reason?
Central location.
Central location. And did y'all try moving it from lodge to
Yes,
lodge?
we have.
And it just killed attendance?
Well, no, you don't get participation, but Bob Rawl has tried to move it at different parts of the district.
Think about one thing when you think about this though, there's a lot of us that still work, and when you're in downtown on the other side of the planet, it takes a lot longer to get to Huntsville and all those other places. So it's not just so much what's in the district, it's where people travel from. So there's some of us that travel 30, 40 miles to get to work, and then you're gonna turn around and drive another 30, 40 up here, and so it, you know, think about that one, it's not just about lodge location.
Robertsville, so how do you see, so I know we're talking about.
You seem to have forgotten, it's a very loose group tonight.
Well, hey,
Quorum established.
I know we're discussing like, when we're gonna meet, where we're gonna meet, like, but, so you're saying the next meeting, the next final prep meeting is where we actually finalize all these details,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay.
And just for the record, I suggested moving it around because I'm a member of Conroe. And because I'm kind of leading this, I don't want people to think, well, you know, he's from Conroe and that's why he wants to have it here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be an officer, I'm gonna attend, but this is our organization. Now, and I mentioned before, if we spread it around, it's equally difficult for everybody at one time, but I love the idea of a central location. Every month you know where you're going, probably where you're gonna sit. So I like that, as long as we can work it out with the worshipful master and the officers of Conroe Lodge, you know. Now, having said that, well, let me finish before I'll forget. Having said that, if we meet in the same place every time, your chances of having a meal have stepped up astronomically. We can have it catered. I've been known to cook. There's a lot of people that are capable of cooking. Carl Spinks.
The bus just keeps rolling here.
But we have a
That's
better.
number two.
Yes, and we have a better opportunity. This is a great kitchen. So that increases our opportunity of having a meal before the meeting.
Andy already volunteered to cook, I just heard him.
Thanks, Andy.
There you go. Thanks, Andy.
Great guy.
Thanks, Andy.
Said it's this closest lodge to his house, so.
Yeah, you know, he said he was steward forever, and I thought, you know, I've heard that about secretaries when they don't read the fine print, yeah. Don't read the fine print, you're secretary forever.
So Bart, you're talking about the numbers, I did a little quickly. So out of the individual districts, 28 is the second largest in the state.
Oh, wow.
Okay, perfect. Did y'all hear that? We're the second largest district in this entire state.
That's out of the individual districts.
Yeah, right, not the combined districts like the 30th, the 14th, 64th, et cetera.
So the 64D is actually about 300 more people than what we have.
Of 28. Okay, of individual members.
Oh,
James,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I've cut you off twice.
No, it's okay, but I belong to 27 and 28. And I don't go to 27, I'll be the first to tell you I don't.
You talking about their banquet?
No, the MWSA.
Okay,
I belong to both districts, but I don't go to their MWS.
why?
Because all they do is they raise money for a Grandmaster's banquet. They don't do anything else. So what's the, you know, other than, Grand Lodge already provides a DDGM, it provides DEO and DCO. What is this gonna do for the lodge that Grand Lodge does not already provide for in a small district? In other words, I understand what happens down in Houston. And I always thought that if this was part of it, I would probably go to Reagan to be a part of that. But this is not part of that district. So for a small district, what's this gonna provide for the individual lodges? What's the deal that's gonna keep people coming around? Because to me, it's kinda like what Alan said. If you don't have something that's gonna draw people, you're not gonna keep the membership up. That's
Okay.
what I came to hear.
Okay, and that's a fair statement, good question. And it's, once we can do anything we want to do. If we wanna have Masonic education at every meeting, if that's what you wanna do, that's fine. I don't recommend it. I think, you know, sometimes people wanna hear something besides that. But we can have education, we can have, not esoteric, but we can have, besides just the words or something, we can have an exemplification of, I came here, Rayburn and I came here one night just to watch Jim Rumsey before he was elected, he did a great program. And it was kind of Masonic, it was kind of astrological, it was a great program. Those are highly interesting to me.
Yes.
Because it's not just Masonry that we're talking about. It incorporates the real world into what we do in that room. And I just, I think he's laughing at me, I'm not sure. So, is that what you're wanting to hear? I'm not sure. I mean, it's up to the organization. It's not up to me.
I understand that, and I'm all for that. I would probably attend stuff like that. But if all you do is come up here and raise money and you spend 30 minutes and you go home, and the only thing that's a beneficiary of it is the Grandmaster's Conference, there's gonna be lots of people, and I'm not just speaking for myself, I'm speaking for what I've heard in 27 about the Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries Association over there. And the reason that they have maybe 10 people that do it every year.
I got you.
So if you're gonna do this, then it has to be something that's gonna draw people from each lodge, and I belong to three lodges in this district. So that's the reason I'm asking this.
No, and it's a great question.
Not to be negative at all,
No.
because I think it could be plastic.
That's the whole purpose of this meeting and the next one. And if you don't mind, while you're waiting for the next one to happen, why don't you pencil down some of the things that you'd like to see Doesn't mean we're gonna do them, but it'll give something for the officers to take a look at. I agree with you. If we're just gonna meet to listen to minutes and maybe have something to eat and pay bills, then I vote we don't do it. However, there's a whole lot more that we could be doing. Yes, sir.
I've never been to an MWSA meeting before ever. I've only been a master mason for a little over 5 years. But one thing that was really cool hearing what y'all mentioned and is how y'all, if you don't have a program, you get all the masters, all the wardens, all the secretaries, and y'all have a group and have like a little class. Like, one of the coolest things I love about going to other lodges is learning what other lodges do. And to have a central location once a month where I get to talk to Clint, who's the incoming worshipful master at Forest. Hey dude, what are you doing, man? I'm struggling with this as a potential master of Montgomery. To be able to lean on my other masters in one place to see what you guys are doing, I think it draws camaraderie, allows us to learn from each other, and it builds that engagement. Because honestly, before I started doing the DCO stuff, I had no idea when Forest met. I had no idea when Oakwood met. And so doing the communication stuff has allowed me to kind of get more visibility, but I had no idea that Sandy Crawford was even in our district until I visited your lodge and started doing this job. And so having that visibility, but one central location to hear your traditions or what you do. I mean, there's stuff that Conroe does that y'all have incredible traditions. I just think that alone is worth it to me. If we come listen to a few minutes and we have banquets, that's great. But I think more like the camaraderie is kind of what I'm looking to get out of it. And I'm pretty excited about it. But
Good.
that's just my 2 cents.
I want.
There's plenty of organizations in Montgomery County that can make presentations that are not this one.
Right.
Like your Lockett.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
We got a new sheriff. We got a new sheriff in Montgomery County. He's amazing.
Trojan Harbor.
He's,
There's a
yeah,
lot of things.
yeah. Andy, oh wait, Andy had his hands up, sorry.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, just because, you know, knowing the people in here, we've got a wealth of knowledge in this room between some of the guys in here that, I mean, I know we don't wanna keep it all Masonic, but I mean, with esoteric work and just helping and mentoring, I mean, that's worth sharing to me. You know, cause we've got a wealth of knowledge and, I mean, to talk, but years of being in masonry and experience that I think could help, especially with the wardens and the incoming masters. Cause, you know, I think all of us will admit, or will at least acknowledge to the fact of, you're going through it and you're expecting it, but when you get in that position, there's a whole lot more to it than you were expecting, or there can be a whole lot more involved in that position than you were expecting it to be.
Agreed. And, go ahead, Doug. No, you please.
I was just gonna say, I was president of MWSA down in Houston in 2020 during COVID. And I'm telling you, that was the most disastrous activity we had. And so, keeping everything rolling during that year, during COVID, was a big challenge. And I had good officers below me helping and throughout the district. They understood where we stood as far as keeping people from getting sick. And we did accomplish some things. And that particular year, I canceled the banquet in Waco because of the influx of COVID resurging, and I didn't want to get anybody sick in that banquet area. So I made the decision to cancel it. So, but the third MWSA gives out scholarships. The purpose of these fundraisers is to raise money to put on the 2 fundraisers, and what you make off of it, you give them scholarships. We give 8.
You gave 8 250s.
8 250s that have been bigger.
Depends
At
on the
one
money.
point in time, probably around your time you were president, in that era there the MWSA was 300 strong or more.
Oh, yeah. But I think, if I remember correctly, our average attendance was about probably 130 or so, but we met at the Scottish Rite. We had a lot of space. But we were giving out, I think we gave out 3 $2,000 scholarships. Now, our membership is down, and I mean, but it's all relative. I mean, it doesn't mean I was a better president, that's for darn sure. It means that things have changed, and we're adjusting. Now, in all fairness to James, we don't, just because the 30th district does that, doesn't mean we have to. You know, you can do anything you want.
Right.
Now, I do recommend that we involve ourselves as much as we can with the public, because when we do things for ourselves, you're taking money out of Brian's pocket and putting it into my pocket, but we're really not going to go very far. We need to open or widen our horizon and do things that are available to the public so they can come in and let's just say, only an example, but let's just say we had a pancake breakfast. And let's just say that we invite Conroe Police Department, because if we're gonna meet here, we invite Conroe Police Department and Montgomery, they're what, 15 miles, 20 miles? Huntsville.
First responders.
Okay, better moniker. We invite all the first responders. We probably don't have enough room in here. And I think that they would make a donation, to what we're trying to do. Hey, we're trying to raise money for scholarships. I'd be right up front with them and just say, we appreciate you being here. If you'd like to make a donation, great. If you don't, fine, enjoy your breakfast. No harm, no foul. And guess what? You might accidentally get a petition out of it. Not every police officer or fireman or any other first responder is a Mason or even an Eastern Star for the ladies. So, you look around and they go, what's that sword? What's that shovel? Why is it gold? You get them to ask questions. It leads to other things. And James, I agree with you. I don't want to sit around and be bored by minutes and paying bills, but that's up to the organization. I'll be here. I'll do whatever I can to help. But I think we should work together. That was in the purpose that I read earlier, and I'll send it to Chance, and you can read it for yourself. I don't think it was on yours.
I think part of the charge, though, like tonight, the next meeting, is not what can the association do for us to bring us here. It's what can we do to bring other people to the meeting. So we need to change the thought process of what we expect out of the association and make it what we think other people want to come and do.
Great.
So our thinking, at least what I've seen a lot of times, is we think about all the things we want to see and how we want to bring people here. We need to reverse that view and think about how they see us and why they would want to come join us to do this.
Yes.
So that's just my thought about things, because a lot of people think a lot of different things about masonry, and we all know that. And about 99.8% of it's wrong, right? So this is our only, as you say, if we're in the public eye, we need to be those people that show it and having those things. So I just challenge everybody here to change your thought process on what this MWSA is about and how it's going to affect us and everybody around us and what we're going to get out of it in the end for everybody.
Great. I'm glad to hear you speak up, Brian, because Rayburn said that you're really mild and meek and never very talkative.
I rode over here with him, and that's far from the truth.
Willie told me to slow down. He's getting old. My wife's let me take the car.
Grandmaster, any thoughts? I mean, I'm not putting you on the spot, just anything.
I think we need to form one. We just need to figure out what our niche is and go with it.
Our next president.
We're too big of a district not to have something out there, really. If we're the second largest district in the state, we don't have an MWSA, we're missing out on a big opportunity. I really believe that.
Yes. And
we don't have to do a grandmaster's thing, but we don't have to do any of this stuff. We can come up with our own little niche.
you can do you can do anything you want to do. You're getting started. You're writing your own agenda. You're setting the compass. So, and Brian, you're right. Now, not very often, every year, a district gets a Grand Master. This year, it's District 28. I'm very hesitant to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think we should take advantage of him, use and abuse him,
That's our job, Montgomery.
For this organization to have a focus, that guy is the focus of the whole state, not just the 28th district. I mean, if you've kept up with Facebook at all, I try to make as many of his things as I can. I haven't been able to do many of them because, you know, there's other things going on. He's had an amazing year. He's home very little, which is, I can't speak for Loretta, but
She said amazing.
maybe she's happy, I don't know. But,
She told me amazing.
but he's exemplified us everywhere, all over the state, first class. I mean, it's awesome. Doug's been with him a lot. Andy's been with him a lot. Cecil's been literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
It is a fair statement.
Oh, pretty much. Okay. So there's times that he's let us down. I got you. Yeah.
Not much.
I thought you meant my travels, I haven't been everywhere.
No, I was talking about the Grandmaster.
Oh,
I think he's done a great job at representing us.
I think I will start me a GoFundMe for gasoline.
Now he's an EDG of a
Hey,
little.
you could turn in a bill just like those other trustees. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. Just kidding. Just kidding on the bill thing. Oh, you were in the middle of making some comments and I cut you off.
No, I just think that we don't have to do a banquet, we do anything. Whether it's supporting a charitable organization or doing something out in the public.
Remember, we're just getting started.
I know, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
and we could start with something, if it doesn't work.
Move on to something else. Sure.
Try to trust it.
Right.
But I think we're just too large, and we're getting more people, because more people are moving to Montgomery County.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of them, even though they're plural members, a lot of them they'll plural with one of our lodges and then just demit or withdraw from their other one, and they become members. So I
Sure.
think that's part of the reason we're growing so much.
I understand. Doug? Yes, sir.
Support the 100 Club of Montgomery County. Is that what they call it here?
It's the 100 Club.
It's 100 Club in Houston total. But
Yes.
No. They got one up here. They had one up here.
It's like the Shrine. They've got a Shrine Club, but it's still Arabia, and I think you're right. It's still the 100 Club of Houston, affiliated for Montgomery County. Pretty sure.
It's like a support club.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they get all the benefits of any organization in Houston tied to the 100 Club. They have equal rights. It's just still the 100 Club of Houston. Pretty sure? Pretty sure.
I'm gonna check into that.
Okay, all right. That's a great idea. I have no issues with that.
Montgomery County Children's Safe Harbor would be a great one.
Yeah.
There's a bunch. Write them down though, because if you're asking me to remember, that won't happen. So, anybody else? This side is awfully quiet. Ron?
You said something earlier that I think was a very strong point that we should keep in the forefront as we move forward. You were really reaching in one pocket and into the other. If we could make kind of a value of ours to be accretive to growth as opposed to moving it from the Blue Lodge into MWSA. We've got scholarship money. Well, we can take that and move it over here. If we could have at the forefront of what we do, an objective to it's not either or, it's an and. So that's just when you stuck your hand in your pocket, that's what I thought about.
Well, and I was kind of referring to, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're not going to go very far. We need to get some outside, if we want to do a fundraiser, we can compete with each other and invite others to participate as well. Mm-hmm. That's great, in my mind, because we're bringing in outside monies. Instead of, hey, Brother Cook, I'd like for you to buy all these tickets, and he does, but it's his money. I want somebody else to come and participate that's not associated, and maybe they will join. We hope so. That'd be great. There's any lawyers in the room? Oh, good. So there's a lot of those folks. We have a lot of lawyers in our fraternity. I don't know how many are active in the 28th district, but they have a tendency to have a lot of disposable income. And we would like to encourage them to participate with us, whether they buy a ticket to a banquet or anything else.
Small bills count.
Wow. So, but I'm not picking on lawyers. I mean, but we want to support them as much as anybody else. But you know, there was a time when we were talking about changing this building up to facilitate some offices for those folks because our proximity to the courthouse. So, but most Forest Lodge is in basically the same situation. So, you know, anyway, great ideas. I don't want to hold you here. If you've got something to say, please say it. There's no, this is a relaxed atmosphere. We've dropped all the titles and stuff. We want you to communicate. And I'm gonna ask Chance to send this out so that we can, yes.
Did anybody sign in?
Did you get a picture of that? You wanted a copy of it, or you want to make a copy?
I'll get it.
Great. If you haven't signed in, Bob, did you sign in?
Yes, I did,
Thank you. No, thank you. There's 20, at best count, I think there's 29 of us here tonight, and I think every lodge is represented except Sims, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they're meeting tonight, right?
No, sir, they're just out of town traveling. Oakwood is meeting tonight, but we got Doug representing Oakwood tonight.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's a trooper.
I'm asking you, the only thing I'm asking you, after we leave here, is when you go back to your lodge at your next meeting, tell them about what we are attempting to do, and encourage them to attend the next meeting on June the 10th here at Conroe Lodge, and tell them anything you want to tell them that we discussed tonight. None of it's cobbled in stone. It's still in the formative stage. I like what I heard. I know people like Brian are subdued, but I always heard he was really quiet. So, you know, but there's no reason, if you're keeping your comments to yourself, you're making a huge mistake. Because everybody's friends here. And you guys are really good and very smart. And so you need to speak up, please. Yes, sir.
So, just a question, just for clarification. I know there's people that can answer it. So, the lodges pay the dues, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
you know, whatever we come up with plus whatever per member.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just for clarification, is that something that if we're gonna join this, we have to go back to the lodges and like make a motion that we're gonna do this and?
Pay the money.
Okay.
Right. Now, and good question. Let's just say.
Wanted clarification on that.
No, let's just say that you go back to your lodge and say, hey, we're to do this, we need you to pay, I move that your lodge or our lodge pays $45 plus 20 cents, just using these figures, plus 20 cents a member to this organization, and they cut a check. And then we turn around and don't do anything. I'm suggesting that we give their money back immediately. Okay, that money hasn't gone anywhere. We don't have an account. That's something that we'll have to do very quickly because those checks go stale in, 90 days? Something like that. 60 days, 90 days. Well, Bob Royal and I set up the 30th Masonic Districts right down here at Chase Bank at Rayford Sawdust Road. They were very cooperative. We got a great account. They don't charge us anything. We have to maintain $1,200 or $1,500 in it, which is very easy for the 30th district. We may struggle with that at first. That's okay. They don't charge much, but we'll get there. A couple of fundraisers will be set fine. So they're very, very easy to work with. Everybody runs from Chase, and I'm not promoting Chase by no means. They've got their own problems. But they're very easy to work with, and they've got satellite banks. You can bank very easily anywhere. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Is that 45 a month or 45 a year?
No, a year. Well, I'd love to have it a month. Yeah, that'd be great. but no, it's a year. Now, please, I threw these numbers out. You figure out for yourself. It's 8 times 45 with roughly let's just say 150 members on the average per lodge. Right, you know, that's a very conservative number. You're not talking about a whole lot of money
$75
per lodge.
per
Yeah, times 8
A year.
a year. So that's not a lot of seed money, but you don't operate on that. You do that's seed money for your fundraisers. You know, and then once you get in that mode, you'll be surprised how quickly it comes in. And I don't want to do, believe me, I don't want to focus on just doing fundraisers, okay? This is, when you read, and I'm going to ask Chance to put on there the purpose of, that I just read earlier when we first got started. If you want to change the purpose of that, send it back to Chance. We'll read it at the next meeting. You come up with your own purpose, okay? I just put that out there.
And real quick, fellas, I'll be sending you guys an email. I'll do a quick summary so you can review the summary of today's meeting. I'll also include a link if you're not already subscribed to the communications. And then if we can, before we leave, I know it's getting late, if we could take one awesome photo. You knew I was going to ask you. If we can take a photo, that'd be fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
That's only
All right,
$580 a year.
it's about 8:10. Yes, sir.
Just kind of for clarification.
Yeah.
And no means trying to be negative, but if a lodge chooses to not belong to the 20th district MWSA, they don't have to.
No.
I mean, we're voting to form it or whatever, but if they don't, they're not gonna receive any of the benefits or, you know, or be able to participate or anything, you know, with the organization. They won't.
Correct.
But
that
again,
term.
it's not by us doing that, it's not a mandatory, you know, assessment that we're making to the lodge. It's their choice.
Right, right. And look, it's still gonna be the 28th District Masters, Wardens, and Secretaries. This thing is bigger than any of us individually. Yes, sir.
Keep in mind too, we're a 2-county district.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Not all of Montgomery County.
Agreed. When I said that about the flag, I thought, oh boy, I just left out Walker County.
The 19th, the oldest lodge in Montgomery County.
It's one of the oldest in their entire jurisdiction.
You're Walker County now, dude. Back away. Go back to Walker County.
No, wait. So,
28.
no. Yeah, and you know, it's I'm glad that Steve actually said something. He's one of the quietest people I've ever met.
Huh?
Nope.
Huh?
Steve, right there.
That guy?
Steve Rich. He doesn't say much, but that guy knows a whole lot. He's a wealth of information, and if you need to ask him sometimes. No kidding. He's a great guy, even though I didn't remember his name. But, so, yes, we're not a Montgomery County organization. It's the 28th district, and that's what we want to focus on. Not Montgomery County, the 28th district. And if a lodge chooses not to participate, that's until they pay their dues. Listen, they may see what we're doing and go, you know, we made a mistake. They can't vote. They can't vote here, and they can't run for office. Now, if they don't want to, no harm, no foul. But at the same time, I think when we get started and we start making a name for the 28th District Masters, Wardens, Secretaries Association, they're gonna say, you know, we probably need to be a part of that.
I think it'll be all the lodges benefit, you know what I mean? I wasn't saying that, I was just pointing out that.
No, you're right.
It's not an assessment that we.
Agreed.
That's a good point, though.
It's definitely a choice.
And
You know.
just to further your point, in the 30th district, we've probably got maybe 7 or 8 lodges. They don't pay. They don't attend either. Now, we've got one that pays that never attends, which is fine. So, yes, sir.
Oh, I just would like to perhaps make the suggestion that when you go back to your lodge, before our next meeting here, that you might mention in lodge, hey, we are looking at doing this and it's gonna cost this much money, and perhaps make a motion at that time. We're not sure, but it's gonna be less than $100, something like that.
Yeah.
To join this, is this something that we want to do as a lodge? Then you come back armed with that information that says, okay, yeah, we're good to go.
Great idea.
So, you know, most of us have a stated meeting before.
Yes, sir. No, absolutely. Well, we theoretically should have at least one between now and then.
Yeah, and so you have to,
And
you
look.
have, I mean, if you're gonna spend $10, you really should vote on it.
Absolutely, and look, it's not for the sitting officers, it's for the past masters and affiliated past masters. And the wardens and secretaries and treasurers. You know, the treasurer's title is not in our name, but they're members. So, and voting members. So, yes, sir, any questions?
Treasure used to not be, but theoretically they've been added.
Yeah, in ours too, yeah. So, but yeah, I think they should be. I mean,
They were invited.
Yeah.
Just sell it to your lodge, and for $7.50 a month, you too could support a poor MWSA group. And just treat it like they do, we put it on the news.
You sound like a late night TV.
I know, right? Just for $7.75 a month, look at everything you get out of it.
Yeah, Grandmaster? Wait, I'll come back to you. Right, Worsfold? Anything? District communication, district education officer? See, that's what I normally get. You just get this and this. And he never speaks.
Yeah, he
Okay. Okay, between now and the next meeting, are there any announcements that anybody wants to make? Anything? Doesn't really matter.
Brother Carl gonna cook his famous biscuits on June 10th?
Oh, I second that motion. Let's go.
I make a motion, Carl puts biscuits.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I got your back,
Next
Carl.
MWSA.
Okay,
You got voluntold.
Okay, yes, sir.
Tomorrow night, at St. John's Lodge number 5,
Yep.
Grandmaster is going to be officially received by that lodge, and we invite people to come.
And they feed really good too.
Yeah, very good.
And so it's St. John's, it's in West Columbia.
West Columbia.
It's a short drive.
Don't take very far. Me and Cecil's gonna be there, and right where Andy's gonna be there.
Right.
You are.
The Masonic Oak is this weekend.
Yes.
The official Masonic Oak ceremony is on Sunday, but they've got stuff on Saturday happening. You want to talk?
30th MWSA is having a fish fry on Friday. 31.
District 31A.
Okay. If you go away hungry, it's your own fault. And it's my understanding they're having barbecue on Sunday. I think, that's what I read anyway. So, and they always, again, if you go through the line, if you've never been to the Masonic Oak, you're missing something. But you go through the line, and then when you get finished, if you're still hungry, you go back through. There's always plenty of food, so. All right, last chance. Lance? This is our district instructor at large, Lance Reynolds. Yep. Okay. Alan, you were most helpful in trying to get information together, and I appreciate it. Okay, if we have yes, sir.
Oh, no, I was just getting ready to take a photo after we pray, of course.
Okay, John, if you'll dismiss us with the benediction, please rise. Oh, a picture too. Don't forget the picture.
Dear God, Heavenly Father, we come before you once again to give thanks for all that you do. We felt that you was here helping us to decide on this organization meeting. We ask that you be with each of us as we go our separate ways tonight. Grant us traveling grace. Lord, watch over our Grand Master as he continues his duties throughout the state of Texas. Be with him, guide him, and lead him. For all this we pray in the name of your Son. Amen.
So be.
All right, Chance, where do you
All
want
right,
us?
guys, I'm going to have you guys all line up by the food. Let's just move that podium over to the left, or your stage left.
Everybody gets some nuggets.
Line up.
Right now, moving that podium.
That's Oliver. Thanks for joining, whoever joined.
You know.